Hey, this is JJ Virgin. Welcome and thanks so much for joining me. This is Ask the Health Expert. Here I put the power of health in your hands and give you access to the top people in health and wellness. In each episode, I share safe ways to get healthy, lose weight, heal your gut, detox, and lots more. So if you want to get healthy and get off the dieting for life merry-go-round, I'll give you strategies that will help you look and feel better fast. Hey, it's JJ here, and today we are going to be talking about the secret weapon to lose weight and beat fatigue with Hashimoto's. Intriguing. What could that be? Well, here's the thing. If you've been struggling working through your thyroid issues and trying to work out and noticing that it just makes you feel worse, not better, this episode is for you. I have the perfect guest to walk you through exactly what you should be doing if you've got Hashimoto's, and more importantly, what you should not be doing. And it's probably something you're actually doing right now because it will make you worse, not better. I've got Dr. Emily Kiberd, and she is a chiropractor movement expert in Manhattan. She's the creator of Thyroid Strong and the founder of the Urban Wellness Clinic. And she also has the podcast Muscle Medicine. And she also has her own personal story with this, which is how it became one of the areas that she focuses on. I was super excited to find it because I knew this was something that we need to talk about and we haven't talked about yet because, exercise can be therapeutic or it can be destructive. It's a drug. And when you know how to use it correctly, it can change everything. So that's what I've got in store for you today. Plus, I've got great show notes and great information from her that you can download and keep with you. And you can get that at jjvirgin.com/Thyroid Strong. Now, before I dive in, I just want to do a shout out to Diane DC 2016. She says, love this podcast, 5 stars. JJ is so fun, informative, and has great guests on her show. Yep, Diane, today is no exception. Thank you, JJ, for an educational and interesting podcast. There's so much conflicting information everywhere, so I rely on you as a cutting edge yet sensible source of information. I'm definitely a JJ groupie. I super appreciate that. Shout out to Diane. Love to shout you out too as well. And before we do the dive into today's topic, I've got one more thing to shout out.
Your team is global. Your payment should be too. Pay straight from your existing bank account or debit card. No new wallet, no complicated setup. Verify your business once, and you're set. Paying your global team shouldn't feel like a job. That's Remitly Business. Sign up at remitly.com/small business month. Remitly Incorporated is licensed as a money transmitter by the New York State Department of Financial Services and in Puerto Rico TM-143, a foreign transmittal agency in Massachusetts and a currency transmitter in Rhode Island. NMLS number 1028236.
Looking for a protein shake that tastes as good as it performs? Meet Rockin' Protein Max. Packed with 50 grams of fuel, it'll help you keep up when your day won't slow down. And because it's always creamy and never chalky, every sip tastes great. Even better, it's lactose-free and has 0 added sugar. It's not every day you find a protein shake you actually want to finish. Catch Rockin' Protein in the dairy cooler at a store near you. Rockin' Protein and Shamrock Farms are registered trademarks of Shamrock Foods Company.
Dr. Emily Kiberd, welcome to the show. I've never taped a show where the person I'm interviewing may go into labor at any moment. Super exciting to have you.
Any moment. I'm so honored.
Any moment.
Yeah.
Well, we will cross our fingers. And luckily, this is not like a 2-day podcast, so we should be good. And I appreciate you squeezing this in literally before things shift. Yes.
A 3-week countdown. So
yes, boy, does those last 3 weeks go slowly, as you know. All right, let's dive into this because I have never heard anyone do justice to this topic. So I've been kind of hounding you about coming on the show to talk about it since I heard you talk about it. I think it's so cool in that your whole specialty now is really focusing on how to help people with thyroid disease exercise correctly. So how did that happen? I mean, you're a chiropractor, right? So how did you all of a sudden decide, hey, I've got to deal with exercise and thyroid? Where'd that come from?
yeah, I mean, I've always been an athlete. I've always worked out. And like any good
And by the
story.
way, I just got to do you a shout out. I did not look like you when I was pregnant. You were that person who's like in perfect shape, and someone just like stuck a belly on you. I was like, what happened here?
Yeah, the common comment I get is, "You are all baby." And I am like, "Yes, I am all baby." So I have always been super active, and I had my first baby, this will be my second, about 4 years ago, and there's so many things that new moms get told after they give birth. Exhaustion is normal, holding on to that extra stubborn baby weight is normal, your hair falling out, totally normal, feeling a little blue, like moms feel that way. And, I listened, and 18 months later, postpartum, I still had all those symptoms. And I was like, something is not right. I feel like a shadow of myself. And if you look at pictures of me, I look inflamed. I have that like morning puff in the face, like my skin was dry and red. And every time I ate, I looked like I was bloated again. And every time I would work out, and I mainly strength train. I don't have cardio days, which I know your listeners know well. Every time I would work out, I would literally be so fatigued after I couldn't get out of bed for a couple days. And that stress of not being able to be there for my new baby, for my family, it was really evident, if you can't get out of bed for 2 days and can't take care of your baby.
Yeah, that is not the
there's
time you want to have low energy.
Yeah, exactly. So I went the traditional route and saw traditional medical doctors. I saw some functional medicine doctors and just really struggled in getting like clear root cause of what was going on. And I saw one of our dear friends, Dr. Gabrielle Lyon, and she was like, your thyroid antibodies are off the charts. You are on your way to an autoimmune disease. You have all the signs and symptoms of Hashimoto's.
Man, thank God you went to Gabrielle and
I
someone
know.
tested your thyroid antibodies, Phew.
Yeah. It's crazy to go through 6 doctors and only have one test done, which was my
Okay, I
TSH.
just have to throw one at you that's really crazy. When I had my first baby and I was feeling like weird and funky and a little depressed and my face was breaking out after the baby, and I went to the doctor and they wanted to put me on antidepressants and and Accutane, and I was actually pregnant again. So, it's amazing what will be missed. Luckily, I didn't do any of that.
Yeah.
So, all right, so they were
Yeah.
just testing your TSH. Thankfully, you went to our buddy Gabrielle. She found it.
Yep.
Then what happened?
Yeah. And it was all these underlying root causes, parasites, heavy metals, mold toxicity, food intolerance, and clean that up. And I felt probably like 50 to 60% better. But every time I would go and work out, I would feel exhausted. I would feel like I got hit by a bus for 3 days in terms of muscle aches and joint pains. And some of my older workout routines were yoga, um, the boutique New York 50-minute hit it hard strength training class. And it just zapped my energy. And so, having been in practice for 12 years and helping women get out of pain and get strong so they're more resilient in life, I was like, I got to do this better. I have to do this smarter. The mindset of like, work hard, play hard, that typical New Yorker go, go, go. I really had to shift that mindset and reprogram my workouts. And so that's what I played with in myself and then started to do with the women who had Hashimoto's coming through my clinic.
So, it's amazing that, you could take something that was kind of rotten and now realize that it's not just you. You're starting to see it with other people and now create something that I have never heard anyone else really addressing. That's why, yeah, when you start to say it, I'm like, oh, wow, this is so critical because no one really talks about it.
Yeah. So one of the things that I often see women with Hashimoto's coming in and struggling with is the typical recommendations that they're told to do in terms of exercise are cardio, So walk 20 minutes, yoga, Pilates, bar, maybe swimming, something low impact. And so in the research, what we know is low thyroid leads to low muscle mass. So it's harder for women with Hashimoto's to
And
maintain their
that's not
muscle
going to help
mass.
them do it.
Right. And so, like the yoga, the stretching, all that stuff is not going to help increase the muscle mass, let alone just maintain. And we know that muscle is really important for longevity and for
Well, and
regulating
for
our
bone
hormones, so many
health and
things.
for like just being able to go through life, get the groceries out of the car, although we don't have to get the groceries out of the car anymore. We just have to. But, all the
Right.
activities of daily life, if you don't have muscle mass and if you're not using it, you're losing it. Someone DM'd me on Facebook and had severe osteoporosis and said, "Oh, she's not doing any exercise." I'm like, "No, no, no." He's like, "Well, that's not going to help your osteoporosis." So, what is that then? The big mistake that women are struggling with if they have Hashimoto's and they're exercising is that they're just doing too light of a workout to make any difference?
Yeah, too much. The most common thing I see is too much cardio, right? Because oftentimes women with Hashimoto's are struggling with weight gain. And, the first thing I think we're often told in society is like, go for a run, burn the calories, and really are doing chronic cardio or sometimes working out too hard. So I had one patient um, work out do cardio, elliptical, 45 minutes, followed by 45 minutes of strength training,
Oh
5 days a week.
gosh. How on
She
earth
gained
could she
30
even be
pounds
doing
over a
that with
couple
her
months. I know. I know. She was
Oh,
holed up in bed
wow.
probably the rest of the day, but that's what her
Oh,
trainer was
no.
getting her to do. And the sad part was the trainer was telling her as she was gaining weight that she was
I knew
being
it. I
lazy
was
and
like going,
sneaking
"Oh, I bet the
food.
next part was you just need to eat
Oh,
less." And let's just repeat, it's just what makes me crazy here is it's so clear in the science that if you cut calories chronically, not if you do a little intermittent fast, but if you cut calories chronically, that you also lower your metabolism because your metabolism goes, "Uh-oh, less food, slow it down." And then if you try the opposite of all just because I'm just going back to that silly bank account model of weight loss that luckily everybody listening knows better about, but you just still see it out there, is exercising more. I mean, that's the reverse of caloric restriction that just makes the same thing happen, in that if you're doing loads of cardio, it just makes you hungrier, and it can burn up muscle. It was interesting, way back when I was in grad school, I read a study about women um, who were like, training for marathons and ran for an hour plus every day, it could not maintain their weight if they stopped, like, if they even stopped for a couple days. And I was like, "Why would that be?" And now it's like, now you sort of get it, why it would be. So, all right, so it's definitely not more is not better. So, what do you do then?
so I have women um, work out smarter, not harder, through strength training. And one of the other things that we see with women who are struggling with Hashimoto's is they have a not only lower muscle mass, but um, slower tendon turnover, which means it takes longer to recover. And, that's what the research is in. Clinically, I see that women have this hypermobility, so laxity in their joints. So if you looked at a woman from the side, her knees would kind of travel back behind her heels. If she was in a plank or top of a push ups, her elbows would hyperextend. If she stood and just bend forward with her knees straight, she could palm the floor. So these are some of the signs of hypermobility. And so not a lot of people talk about this. This is more just like what I've seen in clinic for the last 12 years. And so yoga, Pilates, bar stretching is only going to exacerbate that hypermobility, that tissue laxity.
And don't you find, Emily, the people who are more flexible want to do it's like that makes them feel great, so they'll do more of it, not realizing that stretching hypermobile joints actually is not what you wanna do, right?
Yeah, they'll feel great for probably an hour, but then typically they won't feel great for the next 3 days. They'll go to like, I really feel like tightness and like I got hit by a bus. And usually it means like those muscles don't need to be stretched more, they need to get stabilized. So I have women strength train. And especially for the woman with Hashimoto's, it is heavier than she probably thinks. So there's no
I
pink
was gonna say,
dumbbells
no little
involved.
pink dumbbells. I call those
No pink dumbbells.
paperweights.
Exactly. Um, Usually it's lower rep. So I think a kind of traditional trainer model is 3 sets of 10. I usually don't have any woman do more than 5 reps, and then long rest breaks so that we're not flaring up like a Hashi flare up, not burning a woman out, but helping her get strong, stable, help her build her muscle mass. And I'm not saying bulky, right? Because it's
Yeah,
going to
I was
be,
just gonna throw that out to you because, I can already hear the question, and I love this because it actually goes back to when I was in grad school working on my thesis and I had to help people get strong quickly, it was short reps was the biggest for muscle stimulus. So, but I am just kind of imagining some of the questions, but yeah, but I'm gonna get bigger. Can you bust that myth, my friend?
yeah, I mean, especially when you're struggling with Hashimoto's, you're not going to get bigger. Just from like a hormone perspective, and just due to the fact that it's just harder to maintain muscle mass. I mean, that heavier weight, low reps, long rest periods, I typically have women work up to 2 to 3 times a week. That's working up to that. And it's not 45 minutes. It's not an hour and a half in the gym. It's literally working up to 20, 30 minutes. Because really, who has an hour in the gym
Mhm. Yeah.
anymore? I haven't done that in decades. So yeah, and part of it's a mindset shift. Some people will look at a weight and think that's going to injure me. And the most important piece is to have your form dialed in, your breathing, and that is taught. Like, when do we learn that? We don't learn that in high school. We don't learn it in college, really. Only if we like work out with a trainer. So that is what I help women do, and you have to take into account the hypermobility when you are working on your form.
So this sounds like I'm listening to this going, you're right. Like you look at back in high school and college and go, man, we needed to learn how to do budgeting, how to cook, how to exercise correctly. Like I don't really remember most of the stuff I
Yes.
learned, but those things were the things we needed to learn. And like how to behave well in a relationship, the critical things. Um, but someone listening, I'm thinking, well, how would they know if they were hypermobile and how do they know if they're doing the exercise right if they don't have a trainer? How do they do this?
Yeah. So some of the signs of the hypermobility would be like the knees, hyperextending the elbows, being able to bend forward, palm the floor. And then how to do it is you can do it online. I have an online program called Thyroid Strong, and it's a video
And
exercise
if you were watching
program.
yourself in the mirror, because I love that, because I remember reading, okay, why don't people exercise? Number one, they don't have time. Well, awesome, because this does not take a lot of time. And that's really a key factor. It's really quality over quantity. But the second reason is they feel like they're too out of shape to go to the gym. And so this is awesome too. Now, can someone use your video and do this in a mirror and be able to tell if their form is right on?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's some principles in the program that I talk about, and this is principles throughout any strength training, but just not a lot of people talk about it, and trainers don't often train it because it's not sexy. So one of the principles is um, breathing into the belly, right? So oftentimes as women, we're taught to suck up and in. And if you do that when you pull a weight, you will for sure injure something, probably your back. So
And
breathing,
so what does that do? What does breathing into your belly do?
yeah, so breathing down and wide helps create what's called intra abdominal pressure. It's just stabilization pressure through your core. And then when you breathe out to pick up a weight, you create a little brace. And so this helps strengthen the core, helps strengthen the spine. It's what we do as babies. Like you never see a baby suck their belly up and in. They always kind of have this little Buddha
Yeah, it's
belly.
only a woman in a tight dress. And
Yeah.
you know what? It's, the best visual I can think for that is you see guys lifting heavy weights at the gym wearing those big weight belts.
Mhm.
This is like your own internal how you create your own internal weight belt.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Um, and then one of the other principles is we call it getting stacked. So if you ever see someone pick up a weight and they kind of arch their back and flare their ribs, they're no longer using that strength in their core. Now they're using too much of their back muscles. So we want the ribs right over our pelvis. We want our ears in line with our shoulders, in line with our hips. So everything is like stacked over one another. And this helps learn how to build tension, which is important when you lift a weight. And for myself, if the form is off or the breath is off, like if I take a breath in and I expand just into my ribs, I don't pick up the weight. I just reset and then I start again. I think there's this thought of bang out this bang out the reps and just get through it and how quickly can I get through it to move on. But I would rather have each move, each rep be the most perfect form and less of them.
All right, so let's, like, give people some practical things. Now I know, like, a lot of this is visual, so I know you've got videos, so that's fantastic, and you're also going to be giving everyone 3 things not to do in your workout if you have Hashis and what to do instead. So you'll be able to get that, everybody, at jjvirgin.com/thyroid strong. But what are 3 let's give people something that they can just, like, walk away with to go, "Okay, I've got" if someone's got Hashimoto's, they're gonna get started. Your 3 top takeaways.
Yeah. So lose the chronic cardio. Uh,
Yay! The crowd goes
yay.
wild. And really by chronic cardio, it's that elliptical, bike, stairmaster, jogging, all that kind of stuff. Emily, I used to belong to this gym, and you'd walk down this hallway, and on one side of the hallway, it was glass on either side. You walk down, one side was the weight room, one side was the cardio room. And what was crazy is I went to that gym for probably 4 years. During the 4 years, and it seemed like there were the people either did the cardio room or the weight room, but the divides did not cross, right? And I kept looking over at the cardio room, and for 4 years I thought, "Don't those people realize, like, do they not ever look into the weight room and realize that the people in the weight room keep looking younger and better?" And this was the average age in this gym, it was out in Palm Desert, California, was probably 60, maybe even a little older. But what was crazy is the people in the weight room kept looking better and younger. The people in the cardio room were looking worse. You know, they were looking flabbier, they were looking more haggard. And I'm like going, aren't they looking in the other side and going, head scratching over there? You know? So
Yeah.
dump the chronic
Especially at a
cardio.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Especially at a time when you need muscle in your
right? I
life.
mean, that's the worst possible time to do it. I mean, the minute you're hitting 30 plus, you've just lost your margin for error anyway. And then, put thyroid problems on top of it and boom. So, all right, chronic cardio is out. What's next?
Yep. Start to strength train. And um, I'm not talking like bicep curls, tricep dips. I did have a patient come to me once and tell me that she did 10 bicep curls and it flared up her Hashimoto's. And I'm thinking, why don't we do moves that make you better at life? And those moves are typically compound movements, full body movements. So, squat, a hinge, a lunge, a push, a pull. Um, these moves that work the whole body to build tension, not just muscle isolation. I think that's kind of like an
Mhm.
older school
So
bodybuilding
functional stuff,
philosophy.
because we're not going
Yeah.
into a bodybuilding competition. And
Yeah,
that's,
exactly. So
by the way,
functional
that's important
movements.
for everybody because I always had people say, "I'm afraid I'm gonna get big." I go, "Do you know how hard, like, women have to work out in the gym in order to get big?" I mean, it's like, this does not just happen. Okay.
Yeah. And then the last one would be to take the rest break that you need, right? I think there's so much one exercise to the next exercise to the next exercise. And um, really just taking the rest that you need in between the sets. Some of the people that I know that work out really hard uh, they work out like 15 minutes and they take long rest breaks and they don't do tons of reps. And their muscle mass is really good and they have really quality tissue. So,
Yes, recovery. That's fantastic. Okay, let's tell
yeah.
everyone what you've got for them. And again, it's jjvirgin.com/thyroid strong. You are giving everybody a super gift. Talk us through it.
So it's a 3 mistakes that you're probably doing in your workout and 3 things to do instead. It's super easy, downloadable PDF, and it cuts through kind of what we've been told and then really tells what we really should be doing to take care of our body if we have Hashimoto's.
Excellent. This is such a key, important part of it, because the last thing we want someone to do is, they've been working on the diet part of it, and then all of a sudden they're undoing it with the exercise part of it. And I like to say that exercise can be therapeutic or it can be destructive. It's like a drug. So this is how to use it correctly. And I just love that you are doing this, because again, so sorely needed. And I was like, I haven't heard anyone talk about it. So thank you so much for doing it, Emily. I super appreciate it.
Thanks so much, JJ.
Now, after the break, I'm going to give you my top action step and a challenge from today so that you can put this into immediate action. So stay with me. Welcome back. All right. Now, what I want to do is give you some basics to take away from this interview today, and also a little bit of a challenge. All right, here we go. So first off, make sure you download the show notes so that you get Emily's handout. And you can do that again at jjvirgin.com/thyroid strong. Now, number one thing, and my challenge to you, is to listen, truly listen to what your body is telling you. If you go and you work out and you feel worse, not better, head scratcher. Let's start to look back at what you were doing. Okay. Because ultimately, you can be told this is the best exercise ever for you, whatever it is, or the best diet. Right. And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work. So we've always got to come from this place of being our own personal health detective. And I love that, because this is a whole part of this program is like, okay, let's first assess. Number one, do you have hypermobile joints? Don't stretch your hypermobile joints. That is such a key takeaway that I do not hear people talking about. So that is the first one. Do not stretch hypermobile joints. And you're going to want to, because boy, it's one of those things. If I'm super flexible, then I'm going to do things to help me stay super flexible. You actually want to strengthen the hypermobile and stretch the inflexible. So it's the opposite of probably what most of us tend to do. The next thing is we are going to trash the treadmill. So if you've been doing loads of cardio, we're going to get rid of that and move into the third thing, which is strength training or resistance training, but for thyroid issues done in a very different way, which is doing short exercises. So you're doing somewhere in the, up to 5 repetitions with longer breaks. And again, you'll get all of this in Emily's handout that you get at jjvirgin.com/thyroid strong. But the big thing I want to emphasize here is that you're listening to your body, because what Emily mentioned in there is that it's fairly quickly after the workout, you'll go, wow, I feel really exhausted, right? Or everything's starting to hurt. That is your body yelling at you going, this is not working for me. So listen. All righty, cool. Just want to do a reminder to make sure that you go over there and hit the subscribe button. And while you're over there, I would love it if you leave a review. This is how we know what is working and what's not, by the way, too. So make sure you leave a review. We've got a whole team over here producing this podcast. It takes a village, my friends, to do this. I'm sitting here in my studio and with multiple laptops and mics and all my stuff. And then we have our team that has to really do the magic. So if there's something that you see you'd like to know more about, a guest you'd love to have, or any kind of an issue, let me know, so that we can do something about it. We love those reviews. Keep them coming. They tell us if we're on track. And I will see you next time. Bye.